You're eating clean, taking supplements, cutting out the obvious toxins. So why does your body still feel like it's running on empty? You're tired, inflamed, getting sick more often, and your energy is not what it used to be. So what if the issue was something that almost no one is talking about? A molecule your body makes but gets depleted by stress, toxins, and even your own metabolism. It's called glutathione, and it's your body's master antioxidant. And when it gets depleted, everything else starts to fall apart. I'm Dr. Yvonne, PhD Toxicologist, and in this video, I'm going to show you exactly which daily habits drain your glutathione and which ones can help you rebuild it naturally so your body feels stronger, more clear, and more resilient from the inside out. Stick around because what I share in the next few minutes could change the way you think about your health for good. Why is glutathione so important? It's at the core of how your body detoxifies chemicals, repairs damage, supports your immune system, regulates inflammation, and even regulates hormone balance and fertility. Unlike other antioxidants, glutathione is unique because it helps recycle and regenerate other antioxidants like vitamin C and E, making it essential for your entire cellular defense. It's even present in both male and female reproductive cells, and research shows that its levels are directly linked to fertility outcomes, such that when oxidative stress is high and glutathione is low, fertility outcomes are worse. When glutathione is depleted, your body struggles to keep up. Toxins can accumulate, DNA damage increases and goes unchecked, and hormone signaling is disrupted, and energy production slows down. Highly reactive molecules called ROS, or reactive oxygen species, attack cellular structures and membranes, which are made out of lipids. They also attack proteins, leading to a loss of function and degradation, and DNA is also vulnerable to mutations that could give rise to cancer and other chronic diseases if not corrected. The problem is our modern lives deplete glutathione faster than ever thanks to constant stress, environmental pollution, processed foods, certain medications, and more. But here's the good news. Once you know what's draining your glutathione, you can start supporting it with everyday choices to help your body rebuild it and recycle it naturally. And once you know what the stressors are, you can start making simple changes that really add up over time. Now, this is not about being perfect or giving up everything you love. It is about paying attention and making smarter, more informed choices. Here are the top 7 glutathione busting habits. Number 1 is processed grains, fats, and sugar. Diets, especially those that are high in fat and high in carbohydrates, have been shown to be associated with oxidative stress by elevating levels of protein and lipid production while reducing antioxidant status. This means that diet is incredibly important to our health, which is no surprise. But what you might be surprised by is that oxidative stress and inflammation are the underlying factors behind insulin resistance, diabetes, metabolic dysfunction, and cardiovascular disease. Not to mention, ultra-processed foods increase oxidative stress in patients with irritable bowel disease, which can, of course, impact glutathione balance. And consumption of processed grains that have been stripped of fiber and beneficial nutrients is also associated with increased oxidative stress. The number 2 glutathione busting habit is alcohol consumption, because your liver uses glutathione to break it down and also detoxify its toxic metabolite, acetaldehyde, and both acetaldehyde and alcohol itself are carcinogenic to humans. Chronic alcohol consumption depletes glutathione and inhibits protective cellular mechanisms that basically create the perfect storm for carcinogenicity. Plus, when alcohol consumption is frequent, the demand on glutathione increases, leaving your cells more vulnerable to toxic injury by other chemicals. The number 3 habit to avoid is processed meats with additives, like nitrates and nitrites, often found in deli meats, bacon, and sausages. These can form reactive nitrogen species. These compounds also contribute to cellular stress and may lower glutathione levels in your tissues. Number 4 glutathione busting habit is overcooked or charred food consumption. Because when foods that are cooked at really high temperatures get charred or blackened, those black bits contain acrylamide, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, and even heterocyclic amines. These compounds have been linked to increased oxidative stress, reduced glutathione availability both in animal and cell models, and increased risk of cancer. Plus, high intake of grilled, barbecued, and smoked meat increased mortality in women after surviving breast cancer. Number 5 is acetaminophen overuse. Paracetamol, or Tylenol as it's also known, is processed in the liver that requires glutathione for detoxification. And when used excessively, this can overwhelm glutathione stores, depleting it and impairing your liver resilience. The number 6 habit to avoid for glutathione is smoking and vaping. Whether it's e-cigarettes, cigarettes, inhaling smoke basically increases ROS and causes your glutathione in your airways to get depleted. Plus, cigarette smoke or any kind of smoke causes cell death in your airways, which leads to the persistence of pro-inflammatory cells that produce reactive oxygen species. And over time, this leads to glutathione depletion and tissue damage. The number 7 glutathione busting habit is microplastic exposure. These are found in bottled water, in food containers, and especially synthetic textiles like polyester. Microplastics on their own are bad enough, but they also release chemicals like phthalates and bisphenols, which are endocrine disruptors. But that's not even the worst part, because emerging research suggests that microplastics contribute to oxidative stress and also increase the body's demand for detoxification, which of course includes glutathione stress. So now we know that certain habits reduce glutathione. Now let's talk about the right nutrients and habits to help you build it back up. Because your body already knows how to make it, we just need to give it the right materials and building blocks to do it well and efficiently. And remember that you can support the glutathione balance every single day with specific foods that nourish your detox pathways and strengthen your antioxidant systems. Before we talk about what to eat to improve your glutathione, I want to share an interesting story. So I've been struggling with tennis elbow or inflammation of the tendons around the elbow for several months. And at one point, I could barely get groceries out of my car. It was so bad. I started seeing an integrative doctor who told me to go on an anti-inflammatory diet, which did not include any processed foods, caffeine, alcohol, and certain allergens, and instead focus on many of the ones I'm about to tell you about. And after just 30 days, the tennis elbow is barely noticeable. So the moral of the story is don't sleep on cleaning up your diet and lifestyle, because if you're struggling with health problems, you can see a massive improvement in a relatively short amount of time when you start to be careful with what you eat, drink, and expose yourself to. So the first food to eat for glutathione is sulfur-rich vegetables, because sulfur is one of the key elements that your body needs to create glutathione. And you can find it in cruciferous vegetables like arugula, broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, kale, and even radishes. You can also get a lot of sulfur from garlic, onions, shallots, and scallions, because the sulfur-containing compounds in these vegetables play a critical role in helping to rebuild your glutathione levels. Second, make sure you eat enough protein so you're getting cysteine and glycine, because if you remember, glutathione is a tripeptide made from glutamate, cysteine, and glycine. And cysteine especially is a rate-limiting amino acid, which means that you really need to eat enough of it to supply your glutathione synthesis pathways. And some really good sources of these are organic eggs, wild-caught fish, pasture-raised poultry and beef, yogurt, lentils, oatmeal, sunflower seeds. And there's an interesting study showing that whey protein actually increases glutathione in humans. But be careful which whey protein you consume, because there is a lot of contamination out there. So I'm gonna link below my favorite brand that actually lab tests every single product for over 200 contaminants of concern, which is really important to me. Third, selenium and zinc. These trace minerals are absolutely critical for the enzyme activity that recycles glutathione, in particular glutathione peroxidase. Low selenium levels have been shown to impair the body's antioxidant defense system for that reason. Foods that you can find selenium and zinc in include Brazil nuts, sardines, eggs, and pumpkin seeds. Fourth, vitamin C rich foods. Since vitamin C plays a direct role in regenerating glutathione, we need to make sure we're eating enough of it. Some of the best sources include citrus fruits, bell peppers, strawberry, and kiwi. The number 5 food for glutathione is omega-3 fatty acids or eating salmon. Because interestingly, there was a study showing that eating just 2 portions of salmon per week increased glutathione levels in women. Of course, you can find omegas in other types of fish besides salmon, but that study was specifically done with salmon. Number 6, anti-inflammatory compounds. Since chronic inflammation is a major driver of glutathione depletion, there are certain plant compounds that can counteract it and improve your glutathione status. Some of these are really interesting, like dark berries, blackberries, blueberries, and elderberries. These contain high levels of polyphenols that increase the synthesis of the enzyme that makes glutathione. Turmeric, especially when combined with black pepper, green tea, especially matcha, milk thistle, which is a traditional liver support herb. It contains a flavonoid called silmarin that increases glutathione. Other sulfur-rich foods outside of vegetables can also help to increase your glutathione capacity. These include foods that are sources of glutathione precursors, such as asparagus, papaya, and specifically red bell peppers. That's what the evidence shows. High quality dairy, such as yogurt and cheese, nuts and seeds like almonds, walnuts, and sesame and pumpkin seeds that we mentioned earlier, and oatmeal. Remember to choose organic oats, since conventional oats in the US have been shown to have high levels of glyphosate. I'll link a video below that I made all about oatmeal. Now that we've covered the nutrients that support glutathione, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Proper nutrition is critical, but your daily exposures also influence how hard your antioxidants and detox systems have to work. These next steps are not about doing everything perfectly. They are really about understanding where your potential burden is coming from so that you can make better choices that can improve your body's resilience over the long term. First, reduce the demand on glutathione, because every single time your body has to process and detoxify a chemical, the more you are removing resources from other processes that also need help, like glutathione. This is why toxic avoidance is one of the pillars in my two-pronged method for reducing toxic burden. Second, avoid alcohol, smoking, and unnecessary medications. These are well-known sources of oxidative stress, and of course, they place a high demand on glutathione, especially in your liver. Minimize exposure to plastics, since phthalates and bisphenols that are often found alongside microplastics can contribute to oxidative stress and endocrine disruption as well. Remember to eat fresh whole foods instead of ultra-processed foods. Filter your water, switch away from air fresheners and paraffin wax scented candles, swap out your beauty, personal care, and cleaning products to help improve the production and recycling of the glutathione you already have. And the other half of the two-pronged approach to low-tox living is giving your body the building blocks that it needs to produce and recycle glutathione efficiently. Just to recap, increase your consumption of sulfur and antioxidant-rich foods, including clean protein, omega-3s, and vitamin C to help regenerate glutathione. Regular aerobic and strength training increases glutathione even in the elderly who have already lower levels of glutathione simply due to age, and improve the quality of your sleep because your body does most of its repair during this time. Now let's talk about supplementation. Remember, this is not a one-size-fits-all. So if you are not avoiding toxins, then throwing a bunch of supplements into your system might not be the best idea. And I believe that supplementation should be done strategically. In some cases, supplementation can provide the additional support you need when nutrient demands are high or during periods of recovery. But remember to always work with your doctor to find out which supplements you need in particular, instead of just following trends online that are not substantiated. NAC, or N-acetylcysteine, is a well-documented precursor to glutathione by providing cysteine residues, which glutathione needs. It's also the rate-limiting enzyme for glutathione production, so when you provide NAC, this is a great source of cysteine for your cells. Next, liposomal glutathione. This is designed as a better way to help with the absorption and the systemic availability of glutathione, because glutathione on its own is not well absorbed. Alpha lipoic acid and milk thistle have both been studied and shown to improve glutathione recycling and also liver detoxification capacity. Glutathione is not just a trendy buzzword. It's literally one of the most important molecules in your body that your body needs to protect yourself in a toxic world. And now you know exactly what depletes it, and more importantly, how you can support your cells to start rebuilding it with the foods you eat and the choices that you're making every single day. If this video helped you understand glutathione better, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Let me know which of these foods or habits surprised you the most. And if you're into science-backed ways to live a low-tox, high-vibrancy lifestyle, make sure to subscribe and like this video. If you want to learn all about the ways that glutathione protects you, then check out this video right here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.